guys, so in this video, I'm going to run you through how our member Jake lost 39 pounds inside 24 weeks. It's going to be a case study here on exactly how Jake and I achieved this together, how we got insane results, and the methods, the exact methods that we use to help Jake get there. All right. So first things first, why did Jake join the team, right? What made him go, right, put his hand up? This is me. I need to get involved. I want results like I see the guys and girls getting. And in his own words, he said he got into a bad place with his body. So he felt like he almost let himself go a little bit. He's a coach himself, so it's not like he didn't have knowledge. He's a very, very good coach. Lots of education, lots of amazing client results for himself as well. But he wanted more accountability. So he wanted to be held to a higher standard than he was holding himself at that moment in time. He wanted his results to go from good to great. So like he's had good results in the past, but he didn't just want good results. He wanted to go, right, how far can I take this thing, right? How far can I push myself? And he wanted to gain lifelong results. So he's worked with a coach in the past where he got great results and revert back to square one very soon after. So not only did he want to get into the shape of his life, he wanted to learn how to keep it for life as well. Okay, and that's a big part of the strategy that Jake and I involved. So how did he transform, right? So he's now, in his own words, the leanest he's ever been and the best he has ever felt. And that's by following our hybrid nutrition system, our smart performance method, our unique 5-phase process, our multi-level accountability systems, and using theory times practice coaching. So this is something we're huge on, theory combined with practice. And what I mean by this is there's so many things out there that's great in theory, right? Like all these optimal routines that in theory and on paper and in research sounds great. And that's when you can always tell the difference between somebody who's worked with real people in real time for years and somebody who's just read loads and loads of studies and books. Because I can tell you firsthand, I've worked with over 1,000 members, achieved over 1,000 success stories. And things that might be really optimal on paper isn't really optimal in real life, right? Because sometimes it's sustainability. Sometimes it's enjoyment and preference. Sometimes it's responsibilities and commitments. It's not always easy to stick to. So we take the science, we take what works based on research, and we put that into a lifestyle that's realistic for members to hit. And that's going to be involving things like maybe a Diet Coke from time to time. There's not a problem in it, right? It's just having the right moderation and imbalance. And, you know, I actually done a post not too long ago on my Instagram. It got like 18 million views. And the post was effectively saying that, that, you know, I think it was like an avocado on toast, which is like 400 calories. And it was like a Nutella toast and it was like 250. And I was saying, look, if you want to drop body fat, the Nutella is lower in calories, and it's a calories in versus calories out game. So many people say, oh yeah, you're gonna get cancer by doing that, or you don't think about the sugars, or you know, you'll never get results eating Nutella. It's all about how healthy the food is. And this is a pure example of how people don't really know what the fuck they're talking about, because we need to understand that sometimes if in moderation, every now and again, we have something that we enjoy, which keeps us consistent long term, we will be much healthier in the long term. Because the amount of members that's come to us and say, look, I tried to be so restrictive. I tried to cut out all these foods I enjoy. I tried to go cold turkey. I tried to just have everything perfect. And then I got 3 weeks in and I gave up. I just couldn't do it anymore, right? That's why we mix theory and practice. You can still enjoy your lifestyle. We want to be better for the 80% of the time with good, nutritious optimization foods. And then 15, 20% of the time, we can have a little bit more downtime with nutrition and enjoyment. This way we get great results, but we're consistently good, not occasionally perfect, okay? So this is a bit of a timeline for Jake, how we use our unique 5-phase process. So phase 1, design and dominate, and then we transition that into recom and self-mastery. So the idea of design and dominate is when a new member joins us, we look at their preferences, we look at their lifestyle, we look at their work commitments, we look at their even little things like if they go on date nights, what they usually do, what they get up to on the weekends, right? What's worked well for them in the past, what's their body type, what hasn't worked too well for them in the past. So we can personalize a program. We look at stress levels, general activity, desk-based work versus moving around a lot. You know, all these small little things, they add up to a massive difference, so we can personalize a program. So then we transition into recom and self-mastery, which is the beginning of the program where we take action on all the plans in phase 1 and we start to transform the body, hence the recomp, and we start to master the mindset. So when you kind of look in the mirror and you go, fucking hell, if I can do this, I can do anything I put my mind to, right? Phase 3, so phase 1, design and dominate. Phase 2, recon and self-mastery. So that kind of comes under this bracket here. And then phase 2 is called customization. Now, or phase 3 is called customization. Now, this in Jake's instance is when he went on holiday. So you can probably actually see he's usually got his normal kitchen and progress photo area, apart from obviously his photo shoot, but he's in a hotel room. And customizations is about how can we change your programming around based on your new situation. So for instance, if you don't have access to a gym and you need resistance bands workouts, great, customization phase. If you don't have access to what you would usually like with a meal plan, you want to eat out every day or on a holiday and you want to be able to enjoy yourself in downtime, great. What systems do we put in place to allow this to happen? How can we maybe increase or focus on high protein foods when eating out, increase a little bit of our expenditure, change our workouts to resistance band based, and maybe lower our calories prior to leaving so we have more room for movement whilst you're there. Crazy example, right? That's what customization looks like. And that kind of course correction along the way is what creates sustainable results as opposed to short-term results. Then we have the body sprint. This is where we really go for it. Now, the idea of the body sprint is, by this point, everything's second nature to you. Your energy is so high and everything we need to do, to get results is just second nature. So we see it as you've got a bit more capacity to push even harder. So we go, how freaking fast can we transform? And that's where we took Jake from lean to shredded. And I know like he looks super, super lean here, but going into photo shoot, we only had this phase for a quick 4 weeks just to get a little bit more vascularity. You'll see in and around the chest here, in and around the shoulder, the striations, the separation in the shoulders, the separation in the arms. These things are a massive, massive, massive difference. And it's got some muscles around the ribs, and they really brought out, especially the quads. We brought the quads out massively. So that's going into reward phase where you have the transformation of a lifetime, but most importantly for a lifetime. So from a scale perspective, this is how it looks. So design and dominate into recon and self-mastery is obviously starting body weight. You'll see some fluctuation in and around customization. So his weight spiked up, and that's normal. Digestion's not going to be perfect. You're eating foods you're not used to, maybe a little bit of alcohol. So you're going to have some water retention, but you can see we shredded that off pretty damn fast after his holiday. Then you can see we're back into like a bit of a fat loss phase, but you can see here where the body sprint started. So obviously the body sprint was in and around here. We made targets harder and we dropped a lot faster. And then reward was at his lowest body weight here. And then you'll see it spike up. You probably think, what on earth is that? Right? This is where we enter the reverse diet phase. Now, the idea of the reverse diet phase is so your fat cells are most vulnerable to regain as you're at your leanest. And that's why 92% of diets fail, right? So 92% of people who successfully diet regain the weight lost quicker than it took them to lose it, which is a stat that blows my mind. But the reason is they don't have a sensible reverse diet phase where you slowly and incrementally take yourself out of a deficit into maintenance, sit at maintenance for health, and then go into what we call project performance, which is a surplus of calories to focus on better performance, better energy, and gaining muscle tissue, right? So the idea of this is we want to basically bring Jake into a phase where his energy is optimized, strength and muscle, and we're looking after his metabolism, hormones, and optimizing his health. So the idea of the reverse diet is to bring him into that position. You'll see post photo shoot, this is Jake. Probably looks a little bit fuller because we've obviously got more food in us, but where you're going to be eating more food, you're going to store a little bit more water, hence the increase of weight here. So that's not body fat, that's primarily water weight. A couple cheat meals after the shoot day, of course, after dieting and working really hard. You've got to be able to have some downtime, but then you level yourself out and get back to targets after a nice weekend of downtime, right? So our hybrid nutrition system, this is exactly how it works and how we use it with Jake to transform. So you can say, aka the donuts and abs, he's currently eating a Krispy Kreme Biscoff. Oh, yeah, you could probably see I'm laughing, but inside I'm dying. I think I want one of those. But effectively, how it looks is you have meal plans for complete autopilot. So the idea here is we want to put your nutrition on autopilot. So we have meal plans each day. That's just going to mean, right, I have this, I have this, I have this, done. I have this, I have this, I have this, done. And it just makes life super, super easy. And the thought process behind this was I saw a quote and it's like Mark Zuckerberg has a blue pair of jeans, a white t-shirt, and a black pair of trainers that he wears every single day because it's one less thing to think about. And I know you're super busy as well. So we've done the same thing with nutrition. And then with high days, it's basically where you have more nutrition on 1 or 2 days of the week, more calories, so more room for movement, more enjoyment, so you can go and have fun, right? The reason most people go wrong is their days look a little bit more like this. where it's like, let's say 1200 calories, 3800, then you got 5000, then you got two fucking 1200, whatever it may be, right? But it's just too wavy. And the problem with this is you're going to have your energy so freaking low and your digestion in such a bad place that your energy slows down considerably. So when you go to the gym, your muscle tissue is already vulnerable to be lost in a fat loss phase. But if your energy is super low, so your training intensity drops, you're not able to push yourself. Even worse, when you're training, it's just going to then put your muscle tissue at even more vulnerability to lose. And also, you're just going to feel like shit. And then you'll probably go through a bit of a binge cycle because you're so hungry that you go, do you know what? My body's broken. I don't care what it is. Give me food. I need food. Right? And again, I'm saying this from first-hand experience. When I done one of my photo shoots, I dug in so deep that the second I finished, I binged. And I gained 10 kilos inside a very short period of time, inside 3 weeks specifically. I couldn't tell you how much food I ate. It was insane. And I was in Italy. I went to Italy just after. It was like an all-you-can-eat breakfast. It was disgusting. But my food focus was so high. My relationship with food was so bad. I binged really bad. And now on the back end of that, I understand why. And now I will never do it again because I know what kind of steps to take and what to put in place. And Jake had a similar experience in the past. So I could relate with Jake on a personal level there and as well. So the way we done our diet this time and how we reversed out this time is sustainable, it's enjoyable, and it kept our relationship with food strong. So that's where most people go wrong. They go crazy with up, down, digestion and energies all over the place. And it means it's hard to stick to it long term, right? What we want to do is have a flat line, borrow 1, maybe 200 calories from each day, add that to a Friday and a Saturday or one of the days if you want a little bit more. So then the other days aren't too low. They're still sensible. You just have slightly higher days, which you can enjoy a little bit more with date night, out with friends or colleagues or whatever it may be. So future plans for Jake is performance, career, and a hybrid style of training. So like a lot of athleticism, which is exciting. So while I have you here, I just want to ask you a quick question just before we close this off here, right? Where would you be in 5 years' time if you didn't make any change, right? You kept your current habits and routines. If you weren't held accountable and you didn't have constant course correcting and, movement and feedback along the way, right? So this is my invitation to you. Me and my team will show you step by step how to optimize your metabolism, muscle tissue, and body fat to build your dream body, guaranteed. So you can get toned for life on your own terms. So I've left a link in the description to book a completely free strategy session, tongue twister that, with myself, where we'll run through your goals specifically and how we can build out a strategy to transform for life sustainably. Now, this session is completely free. Obviously, it's going to be to run you through how our program works. And if you're a great fit, we can onboard you and get going to the best transformation you've ever seen, like Jake and like the other members you've probably seen across my YouTube. We've done lots of like documentaries, podcasts and stuff for members too. So make sure you check that out. But if you're half interested about, a full-blown transformation, you want to look into this for yourself, then just click the link in the description, or you're more than welcome to message me with any questions. You can put them in the comments too if you prefer. But I hope you found this useful. Make sure you hit subscribe. So we're going to be posting one of these case studies every week with different client transformations. And I hope you find them useful. Speak soon.